Do you know what we're here for? The equal parts. Oh my gosh.
Illegal.
Not gonna do it. Wouldn't be prudent at this juncture.
Don't even play.
What now?
Your name, please?
A fucking bitch.
He looks good, and he looks hard.
Oh, never occurred to me.
Interesting.
Just crazy enough to work.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen.
This is from 12 Rules for Life.
There's no point in you betraying your future self to gratify your present self. It's a stupid game.
What you talking about?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Climate and everything.
Could you drum up?
Thanks, Jeff, for the question. You should be ashamed of yourself for having that thought.
Break now.
I have to have my China.
Well, good to see all you folks here tonight. Hope you're all having a good evening and or day. We got a hell of a lot to talk about, including the wrap-up of the DNC. Final night here on Thursday. Supposed to be get right to it then. Buckle up, space fans. Encounter some turbulence on this journey through the unknown. Good to see all you folks. McClarity, Carlton, Martin, Moa, Noah, Ben Rude, Interplanet, Janet, 123 in the YouTube chat. At least on the flat chat. On tall chat, it was Moa, Noah, Selena, Mary, and Brandon? Who's Brandon? I'm confused. Brandon has rescinded their message, so I'll say it was in fact a megastar with the third. I should stream the MR stream? I guess I could do that. How close are we to the end of this whole shindig? I feel like it's gotta be. It's gotta be nearing. What are they doing right now? Kamala is gonna be in the mix any minute now. It looks like she's about to be speaking, you're right. Okay, okay. Gotta catch this. Got to catch this. Guess we'll start in America. And in the present. The very present.
We'll see, I guess.
He's good in like an Animorph.
Oh my god, it's so laggy because the chat, no, the chat's too intense. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. There's too many people in this chat. It is lagging the shit out of my computer right now. There we go, PBS. Sorry, but PBS it doesn't has chat completely disabled.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Everyone.
By the way, check
Okay,
this out.
Let's get to business. Let's get to business.
Check this out.
All right.
All right, we're getting to wait.
So let me start by thanking my incredible husband, Doug.
All right, check this out. I have decided to dress for the occasion.
For being an incredible partner to
Wait,
me,
hold on.
an
Oh, wait.
incredible father
Wait,
to
wait,
Cole
wait.
and Ella,
Waiting for it.
And happy anniversary,
Hold on.
Dougie. I love you so very
Pow.
much.
What do you think,
To our
chat?
President Joe Biden. When I think about the path that we have traveled together, Joe, I am filled with gratitude. Your record is extraordinary, as history will show, and your character is inspiring.
Whoa, and suddenly I'm
Doug,
lagging
and Jill,
like
and
no
I'm
other,
forever
probably because
thankful
everybody
to you
and their
both.
mother is watching Kamala right now. Oh no.
And to Coach Tim Walls.
Oh no, what's happening? Oh god. No.
You are going to be an incredible vice president.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
Please hold.
And to the delegates and
Son of a
everyone who has
bitch.
put your faith in our campaign.
Why is this
your
happening?
support is humbling. So, America, the
You ain't
path
checking
that
shit.
led me
Fine,
here
don't
in
check
recent
anything.
weeks was no doubt unexpected. But I'm no stranger to unlikely journeys. So my mother, our mother, Shamala Harris, had one of her own, and I miss her every day, and especially right now. And I know she's looking down smiling. I know that. So my mother was 19 when she crossed the world alone.
What is?
traveling from
Why is
India
this suddenly
to
happening right
California
now?
with an unshakable dream to
We had
be
this all
the
figured out yesterday.
scientist
This was
who would
perfectly
cure
fine.
breast cancer.
I don't understand.
When she finished growing up, we moved a lot. I will always remember that big Mayflower truck packed with all our belongings, ready to go to Illinois, to Wisconsin, and wherever our parents' jobs
This is
took
terrible.
us.
I'm sorry, people. I have no
My
idea why
early
this is
memories
happening.
of our parents together are very joyful ones. A home filled with laughter and music. A wreath.
I mean, it started the second. I think the second I started watching this, so it could just be the fact I'm trying to watch this live stream right now. Fucking hell. Why? YouTube Shorts and horizontal look incredibly. I mean, they aren't just lagging, they're just stopped. What in the actual fuck? Okay. Please hold. think it's working now. I literally have no idea what was wrong. Like, I went to check everything. My stream software was running perfectly fine. Like the metrics they keep track of, all perfectly fine. I checked my internet connection, that was perfectly fine. And yeah. So I have no idea what just happened. Now it's suddenly working again, perfectly fine. So that all makes sense. You know, let's just do this in the order that I was planning. Because, I don't know, trying to watch something live is just causing problems at this point.
We gather at this hallowed place because we believe in the American dream. We face a race that tests if this country we cherish shall perish from the earth, and if our earth shall perish from this country. It falls to us to ensure that we do not fall, for a people that cannot stand together cannot stand at all. We are one family, regardless of religion, class, or color. For what defines a patriot is not just our love of liberty, but our love for one another. This is loud in our country's call because while we all love freedom, it is love that frees us all. Empathy emancipates, making us greater than hate or vanity. That is the American promise, powerful and pure. Divided, we cannot endure, but united, we can endeavor to humanize our democracy and endear democracy to humanity. And make no mistake, cohering is the hardest task history ever wrote. But tomorrow is not written by our odds of hardship, but by the audacity of our hope, by the vitality of our vote. Only now, approaching this rare air, are we aware that perhaps the American dream is no dream at all, but instead a dare to dream.
I look spiffy, thank you. I appreciate it. Decided to dress up for the occasion, the final night of the DNC. Everybody else is all dressed up, so might as well.
Dream together. Like a million roots tethered, branching up humbly, making one tree. This is our country from many, won from battles, won our freedoms, sung. Our kingdom come has just begun. We redeem this sacred scene, ready for our journey from it. Together, we must birth this early republic and achieve an unearthly summit. Let us not just believe in the American dream, let us be worthy of it.
Let us be worthy of it. Well, I guess we'll see how that goes. I'd even look to see what I would look like in here. I'm just standing here behind the desk. Oh my god. How far behind is my stream? Is this supposed to be less stream delay, but right now it looks like it's about 15 seconds behind me. Okay. Well, I forgot to mention, but we were quickly recapping night 3 of the DNC, and then we are going to talk about tonight's DNC, and then we're going to be done with the DNC forever. We're never going to talk about it ever again. There's never going to be another DNC ever again after this one. Wait. Okay, maybe. Alright, I might have gone too far. But at least for another 4 years, we won't have to talk about this convention, if you can call it that. Let's go here to PBS NewsHour.
Kamala Harris is our auntie.
She'll be a president who cares for all of us.
She'll lift us up. In 2016, we celebrated Auntie's Senate win. We saw Trump winning. I was only 9, but I knew enough to be concerned. Auntie said, "Do you know what superheroes do? They fight back. And we will too."
She will make time for what matters. You know, no one is busier than my auntie, but she always makes time for family. From moments as simple as cooking and sharing a meal, to exchanging stories and jokes. Auntie taught me about being present in what's important, and I know that's how she'll lead.
She'll treat everyone with respect. Even as a kid, Auntie made me feel that I was seen, that my words are important, that I am important and loved. I know.
There she is cooking. She apparently must be really good at cook. Like, I know I've heard people talking about how good of a cook she is, but she really must be. There's clearly a bunch of evidence about it. Here she is cooking again with her nephew. I mean,
she'll value others' perspectives, no matter their age or their background.
Auntie, we love you.
We're so proud of you.
And most
vote for me and you'll never have to vote again.
Illegal.
Okay. Wow. Incredibly quiet in here right now. Is it because there's 10,000 other people watching other channels right now? Okay, let's go here. Oh god. Yeah, we better get through. Let's get through this part of this here evening. If you missed it, here was Hillary Clinton at the DNC yesterday. It's a piece of her speech.
Hillary Clinton.
There's a lot of energy in this room, just like there is across the country.
Oh my god, her best friend, Nancy and Hillary. Crooked Nancy and Crooked Hillary.
Prosecutor Kamala locked up murderers and drug traffickers. She will never rest in defense of our freedom and safety. Donald Trump fell asleep at his own trial, and when he woke up, he made his own kind of history, the first person to run for president with 34 felony convictions. As Vice President, Kamala sat in the Situation Room.
I think for many people in the audience, it's probably cathartic for them to be able to scream lock him up all together in this moment. But I think we can move on from Hillary. I'm good. I'm good on the Hillary for now. I feel weird wearing the suit. I feel like I should change back. It's just not right. Now, here's somebody who knows Hillary very well. Let's go to this. This is from yesterday as well.
After the last 2 days, aren't you proud to be a Democrat? And I am very grateful to the Republicans and independents that have joined us, have been up here on the stage, and I hope they feel better about it now. Because I've seen all these things that even I have to be reminded of from time to time when I get my spirits down. I love seeing the Obamas here. I love seeing President Biden. And I thought Hillary gave a great speech, too. And
You should be suspicious of any audience that claps that much for Hillary Clinton.
But I love seeing all these young leaders. A bunch of them are coming up after me. They look better, they sound better, and they'll be exciting. I do want to say one word about President Biden.
Here we go.
He had an improbable turn that made him president. And we were in the middle of a pandemic and an economic crash. He healed our sick and put the rest of us back to work.
Jesus, I say that.
Oh my god. He healed the sick. Joe Biden himself. He healed the sick.
And he strengthened our alliances for peace and security. He stood up for Ukraine. He's trying desperately to get a ceasefire in the Middle East. And then he did something that's really hard for a politician to do. He voluntarily gave up political power. And
that is the most shocking thing to Bill Clinton. And I can't understand it. Why would he give up political power? That's right, Bill. He actually made a decision that wasn't all about him in the end. That speech from Bill was terrible. Be glad that we're not watching the whole thing on stream. It was really bad. It was terrible. I mean, I guess I could watch all of these things on stream live if I don't know, if I tried to. But then I feel like we just don't do any of the other news. We miss a bunch of stuff that's happening. And almost always, like 50, 60, 70, 80% of this stuff is just filler nonsense. StreamLord Biden is kind of like Jesus. Who's StreamLord Biden? Is Joe Biden streaming on Kick now or something? You got like a Rumble, you got like a Substack or something. Okay, let's go. Here's another person that stopped by at the DNC. Another incredibly wealthy person, even more wealthy person, in fact.
In the words of an extraordinary American, the late Congressman John Lewis, he said, no matter what ship our ancestors arrived on, we are all in the same boat now. Congressman Lewis knew very well how far this country has come because he was one of the brilliant Americans who helped to get us where we are. But he also knew that the work is not done. The work will never be done because freedom isn't free. America is an ongoing project. It requires commitment. It requires being open to the hard work and the heart work of democracy. And every now and then, it requires standing up to life's bullies. I know this. I've lived in Mississippi, in Tennessee, in Wisconsin.
I hate how she's just naming all the places that she's lived in. Hold on. We're moving on from this particular clip to a different clip. I really wanted it just for this. Wait, no. What? What happened to the other one? Oh, it's at the end of this clip. Never mind, take it back. Not there. It's like right here. Wait, where is it?
We are not so different from our neighbors. When a house is on fire, we don't ask about the homeowner's race or religion. We don't wonder who their partner is or how they voted. No. We just try to do the best we can to save them. And if the place happens to belong to a childless cat lady, we try to get that cat out too.
Just funny. I just thought it was funny for her to bring up the cat lady thing to to JD Vance. But yeah, it's hard to be like a super big Oprah fan. She gave us Dr. Phil, and who's Dr. Shitstain? I don't know who Dr. Shitstain is. Dr. Oz? Is that who you mean? Dr. Oz. Oh my god. This is live? Wow. Yeah, you people are sadly like 15-20 seconds behind me right now. Hoping it catches up. It's not supposed to be this far back. Let's quickly look at this. This is the majority report from 6 hours ago. Let's talk about the pro-abortion discussion here had at the DNC.
I mean, this is both really, in many respects, disturbing, but also incredibly powerful. There were at least 3 sort of speeches given specifically about the impact of the Supreme Court getting rid of an individual right that has existed in this country for 51 years in the Dobbs case, striking down Roe v. Wade, essentially allowing for a third of the states in the country basically to have abortion bans, and creating incredible health risks for women outside of course, just diminishing their power to have control over their own bodies. And these stories of women who nearly lost their lives or their opportunity to sort of like dictate their fate were really, really powerful. You know, they try and sell these idea that there are exceptions to these abortion bans, and the exceptions are a joke. We'll have examples of that maybe later in the program, but this one really struck me. This is a Kentucky resident, Hadley Duvall. She is speaking about her experience of being raped and impregnated by her stepfather. Again, disturbing, but really important, and speaks directly to some of the absolute sort of like bizarre weirdness and just sort of disregard for women that Republicans have really been one of the organizing principles of their political project over the past 20 years, 40 years.
Growing up, I was an all-American girl. Varsity soccer captain, cheerleading captain, homecoming queen, and survivor. I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. At age 12, I took my first pregnancy test.
This is horrifying.
And it was positive. That was the first time I was ever told, you have options. I can't imagine not having a choice. But today, that's the reality for many women and girls across the country because of Donald Trump's abortion bans. He calls it a beautiful thing. What is so beautiful about a child having to carry her parents' child?
Fucking nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can't. No. Oh my god. This story is just so horrible. Ugh. Sorry, chat. Didn't should have warned you about this ahead of time.
There are other survivors out there who have no options. And I want you to know that we see you. We hear you. Kamala Harris will sign a national law to restore the right to an abortion. She will fight for every woman and every girl, even those who are not fighting for her.
Well, let's hope so. Sadly, the Biden administration did not stop this from happening. I would like to see something done about this even before Kamala Harris gets elected. Not gonna lie, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris still have, regardless of who wins this election. What's today? Like 6 months? No, 5. Like 5 months. A little less, actually. Jesus Christ. Wow, it's getting... How is it this late in the year? So yeah, you know, they could technically, potentially get some stuff done. Let's go here. This is from yesterday with Gwen Walls, which is Tim Walls' wife, introducing her husband.
Out here in the wide open spaces, we are reminded of the values we share: a commitment to community, country, and standing up for what's right. Tim Walls grew up in a small town in Nebraska where he spent summers working the family farm. There were just 24 students in his graduating class. His dad served during the Korean War, and that meant a lot to Tim. So he enlisted right after his 17th birthday and served 24 years in the National Guard, rising to Command Sergeant Major. Tim went to college on the GI Bill and became a social studies teacher. That's where Tim and I met. We shared a classroom with a divider right down the middle. His classroom was a lot louder than mine, but I could hear how engaged his students were. Tim taught for over 15 years, and he coached football, helping lead the team to a state championship after 0 wins just a few years before. Tim taught them how to believe in themselves and that we're all in this together. When one of our students started the school's Gay-Straight Alliance, Tim agreed to serve as faculty advisor because he knew how impactful it would be to have a football coach involved. He inspired his students, and he changed lives.
He is just so joyful in everything that he does, but I think also standing up for, what he believes to be right, stands up to bullies.
Then, Tim's students inspired him to run for Congress in southern Minnesota. Tim spent a lot of time working with Republicans, fighting to help farmers and expanding veterans' benefits. Whether it was in Congress or as governor, his focus has always been helping working people like those he grew up with. That's why he fought for the largest tax cut in Minnesota state history.
But Tim Walls was there for small businesses like ours.
With the urging of Governor Walls, we were able to pass the Alex Smith Insulin Affordability Act, and it has saved lives in Minnesota.
With Tim as governor, Minnesota is one of the best places to raise a family and one of the best states for business. Tim's a lifelong hunter and gun owner. But after the Sandy Hook school shooting, he knew that we had to do something. So he's fought for background checks and red flag laws. But of all the things he's done, Tim loves being a dad. We struggled to have kids, and fertility treatments made it possible. There's a reason our daughter is named Hope. Hope and Gus mean the world to us.
Governor Walz making good on a promise to his son and family yesterday by getting them a puppy.
Then we're gonna go get some food, corn dog.
I'm vegetarian.
Turkey then. And
Turkey's meat.
Not in Minnesota, turkey special.
It's not meat, turkey's special. Okay. That's not how that works. But he's just such a regular sort of guy. I feel like he's a real problem for the Republicans. Hello to you. Okay. Now let's see what Tim Walz had to say at the conference here last night. At least a quick piece of it. Quick piece. Let's go here. You like the tux? Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that.
Now, I grew up in Butte, Nebraska, a town of 400 people. I had 24 kids in my high school class, and none of them went to Yale. But I'll tell you what, growing up in a small town like that, you learn how to take care of each other. That family down the road, they may not think like you do. They may not pray like you do. They may not love like you do, but they're your neighbors. And you look out for them, and they look out for you. I represented my neighbors in Congress for 12 years, and I learned an awful lot. I learned how to work across the aisle on issues like growing the rural economies and taking care of veterans. And I learned how to compromise without compromising my values. Then I came back to serve as governor, and we got right to work, making a difference in our neighbors' lives. We cut taxes for the middle class, and we made sure that every kid in our state gets breakfast and lunch every day. So while other states were banning books from their schools, we were banishing hunger from ours. We also protected reproductive freedom because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make.
I mean, this woman is dangerous, ladies and gentlemen.
Even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. And that includes IVF and fertility treatments. And this is personal for Gwen and I. It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments. And when our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
Aww.
I'm letting you in on how we started a family because this is a big part about what this election is about. Freedom. When we Democrats talk about freedom, we mean the freedom to make a better life for yourself and the people that you love. Freedom to make your own health care decisions. Some folks just don't understand what it takes to be a good neighbor. Take Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Their Project 2025 will make things much, much harder for people who are just trying to live their lives. They spent a lot of time pretending they know nothing about this. But look, I coached high school football long enough to know, and trust me on this, when somebody takes the time to draw up a playbook, they're going to use it. It's the fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball. We're driving down the field. And boy, do we have the right team. Kamala Harris is tough. Kamala Harris is experienced, and Kamala Harris is ready. Our job for everyone watching is to get in the trenches and do the blocking and tackling. 1 inch at a time, 1 yard at a time, 1 phone call at a time.
He's already started with the football analogies. Could be a winning strategy. Will Tim Walz be able to help Kamala bring home enough points for the Democrats to win in this political football game? So many questions to ask. Alright, let's go here. Talk about Tim's son, Gus, who you saw getting very emotional after his father finished his speech during. Let's go here. Associated Press.
Gus Walz sat front row for the biggest moment of his father's life, and his pride exploded out of him.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
That's my dad, the 17-year-old could be seen saying. He stood with tears streaming down his face, pointing to his father, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, as he accepted the Democratic nomination for vice president. Gus wept through much of his father's speech, and when it was over, he climbed on stage and wrapped his dad in a tight bear hug. His parents recently disclosed that the high school senior has a nonverbal learning disorder, an anxiety disorder, and ADHD, but they called his condition his secret power and said he's brilliant and poised for success. Gus is getting his own turn in the spotlight after his older sister, 23-year-old Hope Walz, delighted Americans with
very relatable
she
right
filmed
here.
with their dad. Gus's exuberance captured hearts, becoming perhaps the defining image of his father's address and further humanizing a running mate picked by Vice President Kamala Harris, in no small part.
Jeez. Tim Walz seems to have a really great family. They seem to really love each other. It's kind of beautiful. It's a real sort of dynamic shift from thinking about, I don't know, Donald Trump stiff-arming Tiffany at the RNC. When I imagine Trump family functions, I imagine just a lot of horrible things, really. I'm pretty sure that his uncle? Whatever, not gonna get into it. Alright, we have a couple of more things to look at here. Let's talk about Tim Walz a little bit. Actually, you know what, we'll do this afterwards. You know, we're gonna move this down here. Sorry, chat. I am just rearranging something real quick. Wait, where did that go? Huh. Oh, that's where it snuck to. Okay. Alright, yes. Let's go on to this. This was a DNC panel of women state governors, I believe. Let's see how this started off here. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Don't do that. No, don't do that. How did this happen? Sorry, everyone. Shit. No. I should have just... Too far now. Too far to go back now. Just gotta keep clicking. We're about to be there. Okay. I think this is it. Yes.
Hello, thank you for that warm reception and welcome one and all to the DGA Women Governors Forum. This is so cool. We are very honored to have 8 highly intelligent, highly capable women leaders for the 21st century with us, or what J.D. Vance might call a coven of semi-menstruating witches. Yeah. What? We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. What a thrilling and historic week we are having here at the Democratic National Convention. Am I right? Yes. Oh my God. The optimism, I have to say, of the Harris-Walz campaign is contagious. I personally feel like I've been smiling for a month. My face actually hurts. And was anybody else weeping last night for 2 hours watching the first gentleman and the Obamas speak? Oh my God.
Okay, all right, that's enough. I just thought I just thought that quote was great. A coven of semi-menstruating witches, otherwise known as 8 Democratic women governors and Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who I hope has been telling Jerry Seinfeld that he's a dick, but who knows. Okay, let's let's go here to a different group of women. This was from today. That's right, we are on today's DNC. We're gonna quickly blow through this stuff. Start here. Kerry Washington and the nieces of Kamala Harris. They're gonna help us learn.
Okay, so listen. It's come to my attention that there are some folks who struggle or pretend to struggle with the proper pronunciation of our future president's name. So, hear me out. Confusion is understandable. Disrespect is not. So tonight, we are going to help everyone get it right. Here to help me are some very special guests. Thank you, ladies. Can you tell us your names?
Hello, everybody. My name's Amara. And my name is Leela, her little sister.
And what are you here to do?
To teach you how to say your auntie's name.
Okay. So, how do you pronounce it?
First, you say comma like a comma in a sentence. Then you say la like la 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 la.
Put it together, and it's 1, 2, 3, Kamala. All right, so let's practice. Let's practice.
Everybody over here, say Kamala.
Over here.
Everybody over here, say La.
Together. For president!
Okay. How long do you work for your current confectionery employer? I don't know what that means. Cake making? Okay. Here was Maxwell Frost yesterday to throw a few barbs Trump's way.
I'm Maxwell Alejandro Frost, and I'm proud to be the first member of my generation in Congress. I'm also proud to represent Central Florida. You might expect me to talk about how climate change will impact our future. But as a Floridian, as a Florida man, I'm here to tell you that the climate crisis isn't some far-off threat. It is here. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance think they can divide us by saying this crisis is some type of hoax. But I've walked the streets of communities that have been forced to rebuild after hurricane flooding destroyed their homes. I've heard the stories of immigrant farm workers made to work in horrid conditions exacerbated by this crisis. And I felt the scorching record heat and know that climate change can sometimes feel like an unstoppable force. But with our movement and with organizing and an administration that cares, we are making progress. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have proven that tackling this crisis creates jobs, that investing in clean energy protects our health, and that investing in mass public transit builds strong communities. And we...
True. True that. Okay, now let's go here. This is it California? I can't forget. I'm pretty sure he's a congressman. This is Ted Lieu. Also spoke at the DNC. Anybody know? I feel like I should just look that up. Oh, God.
As a computer science major, I am so impressed
Oh, God,
with
I've disappeared.
how large this AI-generated crowd looks tonight. I first got to know Kamala Harris during the Great Recession when I was a California state legislator. Millions of hardworking families were facing foreclosure. My constituents told me stories about predatory and unfair loan terms, and about how hard they were fighting to keep the homes that they loved. Thankfully, they had someone fighting just as hard for them, Attorney General Kamala Harris. She led an investigation of the mortgage industry to root out fraud. She helped pass the Homeowners Bill of Rights, and she held the big banks accountable, bringing back $20 billion to homeowners. Since those days, I've seen her continue to fight for affordable housing as vice president. And as president, she's going to cut red tape so we can build more houses, help new homeowners afford a down payment, and take on corporations that unfairly hike up rent.
Let's hope so. Let us hope so. Wait, why can't I see myself? There we go. Now I'm back. 20 likes. 20 likes. Okay. 11 and 13. Okay. Yeah, something happened. My stream software lagged. And for some reason, I was completely hidden. I don't know why. It's all very annoying. Okay, let's go here. This was Al Sharpton. And members of the exonerated Central Park 5 blasting Donald Trump during a DNC speech earlier tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. I stand before you as the president of National Action Network. We do not endorse candidates, but we report where candidates stand on criminal justice, economic empowerment, health equity, and other issues. On one side of this race is Donald Trump, a fellow New Yorker I've known for 40 years. Only once in that time did he take a position on racial issues. He spent a small fortune on full-page ads calling for the execution of 5 innocent young teenagers. Well, I'm gonna bring them out in a minute, and you'll hear from them tonight. Because they were not executed, they're here to continue to fight. But it was there that I saw Trump love to fan racial flames. On the other side is a woman that I've walked with in Selma, Alabama to commemorate the 59th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. Kamala Harris spoke to me that day about unity and passing bills.
Come on.
All I ever heard from Donald Trump was how he can get an advantage. I see one candidate who wants to protect the right to vote, while the other has tried to cook up 11,000 votes in Georgia.
Did the Reverend Al Sharpton not hear what Kamala's very cute nieces said? Comma, la. Comma, la. We just went over this 10 seconds ago. It was so recent that I feel like I could redo the entire conversation right now. God damn it. Kamala? Is that what he said? It broke me inside.
I see a candidate who, with Joe Biden, brought leaders to the White House to confront violent hatred, running against a man who said neo-Nazis in Charlottesville were fine people. Illegal. I see a candidate who has sought to reform and uphold the law, and a man who wrongly assumes his mugshot appeals to black Americans. I worked with Kamala Harris. In every job she's had, she has consistently committed to making government work for those of us who've been disadvantaged. All Donald Trump has been consistent about is making himself richer and sowing division to get that done. This man sat right here in Chicago a few weeks ago refusing to apologize for claims that migrants were taking black jobs. Well, in November, we're gonna show him when blacks do their job.
That one's sticking, I think. This sort of turning it around and saying, well, maybe Donald Trump should step aside if you care so much about black jobs. Okay. Now, hold on. We're not going to watch this whole thing. Let me just get us... Let me think.
This November, we will go forward to fulfill the promise of a just and fair nation. And let me say, as we transition, I'm a preacher. And in Psalms it says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. We've endured January 6th. We've endured conspiracy theories. We've endured lies and areas of darkness. But if we stay together, black, white, Latina, Asian, Indian American, if we stay together, joy, 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 joy coming in the morning. I want to now, since I was a teenager, I was mentored by Reverend Jesse Jackson. And Reverend Jackson taught us to fight for what's right. And now I want to bring out some young men that I fought for. I referred to them then. They were known as the Central Park Five. Now they are the Exonerated Five. Raymond Santana, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salam, Corey Weiss, the Exonerated Five.
We won't go back.
Good evening, people. My name is Corey Wise. 35 years ago, my friends and I were in prison for a crime we did not commit. Our youth was stolen from us. Every day, as we walked into courtroom, people screamed at us, threatened us because of Donald Trump. He spent $85,000 on a full-page ad in the New York Times, calling for our execution. We were innocent kids, but we served a total of 41 years in prison. Reverend Al Sharpton stood with us. Now, I'm proud to stand with him today. Vice President Kamala Harris has also worked to make things fairer. I know she will do the same as president. Now approve that message.
Okay. What else? I thought it was good that they had them there for this moment, not just you know, for the obvious political reasons, but you know, these men went through, you know, hell. They were in jail, like you said, for over 40 years total. That is ridiculous. Now, which direction will Kamala Harris go with her policies when she becomes president? That's a question I'm asking myself. She has a somewhat middle-of-the-road judicial record when she was AG, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you call that judicial record. Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, about that. Now, somebody else showed up. A little surprise visit here at the DNC. Let's see. Let's see who popped in here.
What's up, everybody? Stephen Curry here. I know you all know I played for the Golden State Warriors, but man, what a great honor it was to represent Team USA and go out there and win that gold medal at the Olympics this summer. And that unity on and off the court reminded us all that together we can do all things and continue to inspire the world. That's why I believe that Kamala, as president, could bring that unity back and continue to move our country forward. This is about preserving hope and belief in our country, making sure families can be taken care of during the most precious times. I got to visit Kamala with my team in the White House last year, and I can tell you one thing I knew then, and I definitely know now. The Oval Office suits her well. So in the words of Michelle Obama, do something. Go vote. Be active. Let's show out in November like never before.
There we go. There we go. Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Decided to call in at the DNC and give everybody, or give Kamala Harris his support. I'm all gussied up. Yes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this suit off. It's hot. I'm gonna take the suit after we finish the convention. We have to finish the convention stuff first. Let's go here. DL Hewley. It's been a star-studded convention here at the DNC. My God.
Hey now, hey Chicago, how y'all doing? What's happening, California? Now, wait, where those AKAs at? Where they at? You know what? In 3 months, ain't gonna be no living with y'all.
Right now.
I can tell you this. I don't blame Donald Trump for not wanting to debate Kamala. I've been married to a black woman for 40 years and I ain't won one debate. I'm owing 93,000. Now, of course, Trump is saying that Kamala isn't black. I guarantee you this, Kamala's been black a lot longer than Trump's been a Republican. And if he keeps sliding in the polls the way he is, the only way he can keep Kamala out of the White House is if he buys it and refuses to rent it to her. Of course, Kamala's getting broad support. They got black men for Kamala, white men for Kamala, Latinos and Asians for Kamala. They even have Republicans for Kamala. Republicans for Kamala. I guess Donald Trump will finally know what it's like when you get left for a younger woman. But seriously, Kamala knows the truth about the American dream, that hard work is not enough. Hard work alone is not enough to succeed, that you need access and information and opportunity. And she knows that some folks are often denied those very things. As president, she will give each and every one of us a fair shot in life.
Really?
But I have to admit, I didn't always believe that. I mean, if you told me the 15-year-old me would be on stage supporting a prosecutor and a teacher,
things change.
There is no way that I would have believed you. But because of that, I made assumptions about Kamala's record. And I often repeated them to a lot of people. Then one day, Kamala invited me to her house. She put her hand on my shoulder and she asked me to do some research. Something I had never done. Something a lot of people I know had never done before. Imagine attacking someone's character without a single Google search. So I did what I should have done in the first place. I learned that she had done for us exactly what she promised to. I believe that your apology should be as loud as your accusation, and I'm here apologizing in front of the whole damn world. I was wrong. I was wrong, and I'm so very glad I was wrong because, Kamala, you give me hope for the future, a future where my grandchildren, Nola and Stevie, had the freedom to control their own bodies. Where they
Was that Raven from That's So Raven? I lost her.
A future where my grandchildren, Nola and Stevie, had the freedom to control their own bodies. Where they have the opportunity to go as far as their wits and their talents would take them. That future, ladies and gentlemen, is possible, but only if we elect Kamala Harris as the 47th President of the United States of America.
Blam. Applause. People are pretty stoked about this. Kamala isn't solely black, she's biracial. Exactly. 100% true.
Arguably the greatest work of nonfiction of the 20th century.
She is black and Asian and a woman. She's like a trifecta of herstory. A historical phenomenon. That last part, I fucked it up. I tried. Okay, let's What else? Okay. Now, this I'm gonna have to change. That's cringe classism. Nightbot is saying cringe classism. What did it say? Brahmanism is an ancient Indian religious and social system based on the dominance of the Brahmins in society and the worship of deities, particularly Brahma. All right. I'm gonna have to change because we're leaving the DNC. Hold on, let me make sure. I just realized something. I have the opportunity right now. Okay, hopefully that takes effect later. Okay, I got out of my suit. Done with the DNC. Let's leave the DNC. Let's go outside. Let's go outside the DNC. And, sorry, just, wearing that tuxedo for too long. It's just so hot. This is much better. Let's go outside the DNC to the uncommitted protest happening in Chicago, directly outside the convention center where the DNC is being held. Let's go to Democracy Now! Here. It's from 10 hours ago. It's from last night.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, War, Peace, and the Presidency, Breaking with Convention. We're broadcasting from the studios of Can TV here in Chicago. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh. Hi, Nermeen.
Hi, Amy. The third night of the Democratic National Convention on Wednesday was headlined by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz formally accepting the Democratic Party's vice presidential nomination. The evening featured a host of celebrity speakers and prominent Democrats. But the most solemn portion of the evening was an address by the parents of an American-Israeli hostage, Hirsch Goldberg Poland, who has been held in Gaza since October 7th. Poland's parents, John Poland and Rachel Goldberg, wore pieces of tape with the number 320, marking the number of days their son has been held hostage. As they spoke, the convention hall was largely silent. In his remarks, John Poland also called for an end to the war in Gaza.
There is a surplus of agony on all sides of the tragic conflict in the Middle East. In a competition of pain, there are no winners.
Be right back, chat. Sorry, I gotta grab a drink.
In our Jewish tradition, we say, Kol Adam Olam Umlo'o. Every person is an entire universe. We must save all these universes. In an inflamed Middle East, we know the one thing that can most immediately release pressure and bring calm to the entire region. A deal that brings this diverse group of 109 hostages home and ends the suffering of the innocent civilians in Gaza.
John Poland, the father of American-Israeli hostage Hirsch Goldberg Poland, addressing the Democratic National Convention last night. At the same time, delegates with the uncommitted movement received word that their request for a Palestinian American to address the convention was denied by the DNC and the Harris campaign. Uncommitted delegates were selected in state Democratic primaries earlier this year to call for an end to the Biden administration's backing of Israel in its assault on Gaza. After the Democratic National Committee denied their request for a Palestinian American speaker on stage, uncommitted delegates and their allies staged a sit-in outside the convention hall. They remained throughout the night. The sit-in is still ongoing at the time of this broadcast. These are some of the voices from that sit-in. last evening, beginning with the co-founder of the uncommitted movement, Abbas Alawaya.
The Democratic Party is actively suppressing a Palestinian American from speaking from this stage. We urge the Democratic Party to reconsider. I've worked across the aisle. I've written bipartisan bills. I was a congressional staffer. I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I was a Democratic congressional staffer. And so, as part of our negotiation with the DNC, we gave them a list of names. One such name is a Palestinian American elected representative from Georgia. Her name is Ruwa Rumman. If for some reason Ruwa didn't pass the vetting, then I want to know what the issue is. I want Ruwa to speak.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ruwa Rumman. I am a Georgia state representative. I'm an elected Democrat. I come from the swing state of Georgia. We are not here to create any divisions. As my colleagues have said over and over and over again, the only reason we are here is to ensure that Donald Trump will never make it to the White House and save the lives of the people that we love. It's about the fact that today I watched my party say our tent can fit anti-choice Republicans, but it can't fit an elected official like me. I do not understand. I do not understand why being a Palestinian has become disqualifying in this country. I don't know how much more we have to prove. All of us have decade or more long resumes working for this party because we know that this party is the only one that's ever tried to meet the promise of our country. We are here to literally save the soul of our party. I do not understand why that is a bad thing. This would have truly and sincerely been a beautiful gesture to show this party cares about the cries of an Israeli child the same way they care about the cries of a Palestinian child. That's right. We are not asking for too much. All we wanted was to be on that stage and show people desperate for hope there is something to hope for.
My name is June Rose. I came into this week feeling hopeful.
Okay, hold on. We're not going to watch this whole thing. It's about 20 minutes long. Okay.
Palestinian, my voice, my people's voice is not important enough to be on the main stage is heartbreaking. The Palestinians in Gaza are suffering the most unimaginable circumstances. These are teachers, these are doctors, these are artists, these are dreamers. They deserve to live. All four of my grandparents were survivors of the Nakba from a village called Al-Malha in Palestine. My family still lives in a refugee camp, internally displaced in the West Bank to this day. They live under occupation to this day since 1948. How many more Palestinians need to die until the American government stops sending arms to kill them? What more do we have to do? What more do we have to do? They have our names on the lists of the dead. They have our sisters' names, our brothers' names, our parents' names, our grandparents' names.
Illegal. Asma Muhammad, I'm the co-chair of the Minnesota delegation of uncommitted delegates. Every single one of us who are sitting here have been getting calls and texts from our family members and people from our community, the nearly million voters who voted for us to be here as delegates, asking what's happening, asking for updates on what is happening, because they asked for us to be here. They elected us as delegates to be here to represent them inside.
Exactly.
They wanted a reason to support the vice president. They wanted us to leave this convention saying Vice President Harris supported a plan for a ceasefire, and she did that by putting in an arms embargo. She did that by stopping the bombs. Imagine all 1 million, nearly 1 million of those voters watching right now and saying, that party isn't representing me right now. I want you to imagine you are a young Muslim woman watching right now. You're a Palestinian watching right now. You're a young anti-Zionist Jew watching right now. You're a Gen Z voter watching right now, wondering, how is this party representing me in this moment? Wondering, where do I fit in? When I was organizing in Minnesota, we got 46,000 votes in just 8 days. Imagine if we had the 3 weeks that Abbas had in Michigan. I imagine we'd have a lot more. We do it. Yeah, we do it. We do it.
And that's the thing about this that's so insane, that they wouldn't allow the uncommitted people on the floor, even though, like we talked about earlier this year, a huge percentage of the votes that were cast in the primary went to uncommitted. Sort of a travesty of justice, really. The more I think about it, should probably upset everybody here if anybody here voted uncommitted. The fact that they are blocking uncommitted delegates from being there. Okay, let's go here. It's another Democracy Now! Piece. I think they must have been outside of the DNC last night. Here's Ilhan Omar.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. War, Peace, and the Presidency, breaking with convention. We're broadcasting from the studios of CAN Public Access TV here in Chicago. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Nermeen Sheikh. Welcome to our listeners and viewers across the country and around the world. Delegates from the uncommitted movement and their allies launched a sit-in protest Wednesday night after the DNC refused to let a Palestinian American take the main stage, despite allowing the parents of an American-Israeli hostage to address the convention. Uncommitted delegates were selected in state Democratic primaries earlier this year to call for an end to the Biden administration's backing of Israel in its assault on Gaza. The sit-in continued throughout the night and is still ongoing at the time of this broadcast. Among those who addressed the crowd last night at the sit-in was Ruwa Rahman, a Palestinian American who is a Georgia state representative and an uncommitted delegate. She was among the list of speakers offered by the uncommitted movement that the DNC refused to allow on stage. This is some of what she had to say last night.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ruwa Rahman. I am a Georgia state representative. I'm an elected Democrat. I come from the swing state of Georgia. We are not here to create any divisions. As my colleagues have said over and over and over again, the only reason we are here is to ensure that Donald Trump will never make it to the White House and save the lives of the people that we love.
Sorry, we already listened to this part.
Sit in to express their support.
Same way they care about the cries of a Palestinian child. That's right. We are not asking for too much. All we wanted was to be on that stage and show people desperate for hope there is something to hope for.
That was Georgia State Representative, uncommitted delegate Ruwa Rahman. Among those who came to the sit-in to express their support were Pennsylvania Congresswoman Summer Lee and Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. I caught up with Congressmember Omar at the sit-in last night. The uncommitted delegates who are here asking for a Palestinian speaker on the stage of the DNC. Do you support this?
Yes, I did put in a request for that accommodation to be made, both to the Harris campaign and to the chairman of the DNC. I am hopeful that they will hear. It's not just me who made that request. There's multiple leaders within the Democratic Party who are here have also made that request.
And the delegates here who have sat down asking for this one response say they've been simply told no.
Well, that's heartbreaking to learn. That hasn't been the response. The response was to me, be patient, we'll figure out something. It's unfortunate that if they have been told no.
Do you think there's still a chance for them to change their minds?
Every phone call I've had, every conversation I've had today has been be patient with us, we'll figure something out.
Do you think Vice President Harris takes a different position than President Biden on the issue of an arms embargo, on the issue of stopping supporting Israel's assault on Gaza?
She has certainly been more forceful in talking about how this war and its devastation is unconscionable. I do hope that tomorrow we get to hear what her policy positions will be going forward.
You spoke earlier today. Can you talk about your message?
My message is, this is not about just winning votes. It's about living up to the words that we say about caring for our neighbors, for having a heart, for being compassionate. If that is who we are as Democrats, there is no compassion in continuing to fund this genocidal war. There is no compassion in turning our heads away from the piles of dead bodies that have been going on for the last 10 years. There is no compassion and care in simply keeping the status quo. There is compassion and care in saying we know that a ceasefire is only possible if we use every leverage that we have, and the biggest leverage that we have is to stop sending bombs. Thank you all.
Okay, cool. Pause. I just thought it would be good for us to get a little bit of that in today. Is that's what happened last night. What's happening in chat? What speech was my favorite of the DNC, like of the whole thing? Oh god, it's like a sea of speeches. So many of them were so bad. Oh boy, hard to say. Hard to say. I think one of my favorite parts was that the day before Lil Jon showed up at the DNC, we were talking about him on stream in this sort of fictional way, like, oh, what if Lil Jon was there? And then he was there. And it blew my mind. Janet, you're having a hard time still over there? I'm sorry that you're not feeling good right now. I wish I had more funny and fun things to talk about. But it might get funny. It might get funny here shortly, so let's see. Maybe not shortly. Maybe in a, maybe in a little bit. God. But no, I genuinely want all of you to be not sad. I hope that the stream doesn't make people sad. Like, I know that there's a lot of like tough stuff that we talk about here on a regular basis, but I'm not trying to be sad. Not intentionally. Okay, let's wait a second. Let's go here. This is from sorry. This is from last night. CNN. This is why Van Jones thinks Tim Walz creates a dangerous ticket for Republicans.
David Axelrod, I cannot think of another vice presidential nominee like Tim Walz, who's given a speech like that that is as sort of relatable and energetic and plain spoken.
Yeah, he's kind of out of central casting. If this gig doesn't work out for him, they can just have a sitcom called Coach Walz. I mean, really, he is sort of the portrait of middle America in so many ways. And, you know, a lot of what we've heard during this convention and the speeches that we heard last night from the Obamas, you know, they really centered Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party in the mainstream of American life. And Tim Walz speaks to that. I mean, he is the guy he's a guy people can relate to. He's the neighbor who comes over and mows your lawn when you went on vacation, even though you didn't ask him to. You know, and I think that it's very grounding. It's very, very noticeable, this whole convention.
Yeah.
It is playing within that theme.
It's also interesting, I mean, his record in Minnesota, being able to be elected to Congress from a red district.
He was now we should note that he was a moderate candidate for that office. I think he became more progressive as governor of the state. But you know, it'll be interesting to see how all of this plays out, because a lot of these progressive policies, I think, quite popular. I don't think he's, you know, they're not going to lose because Tim Walz wanted to give kids
Oh my
lunches.
God. That makes Van Jones so sad when he hears like, yeah, people, they like those progressive policies.
Right. You know,
look, I'm just blown away. Look, first of all, before he comes out, I'm thinking to myself, why did we pick this dude to be our VP nominee? You had Shapiro come out. He was powerful. He commanded the stage. Wes Moore, centered, grounded, military bearing. You had Pete. You know, this is incredible. And then he comes out here
Yeah.
and is a cut above the best.
Yeah, those were all amazing candidates.
It's incredible. And then he comes out here and is a cut above the best in our party in a way that you just haven't seen. It is so relatable. It is so real. He creates opportunities for this party that we probably haven't had since Bill Clinton. I think this guy could go anywhere and talk to anybody and get people to take this ticket. This is a dangerous ticket for the Republican Party, because if he can just do this, for the next 70 days, and you add that to what the Obamas can do, what the Clintons can do, what Kamala can do. I mean, this is an unbelievable ticket.
So you're.
What are the Obamas gonna do? Van Jones is such a hack. Yeah, he sucks. He sucks. But he's actually right in this one moment about half of what he's saying here. And that Tim Walz does in fact cut into their sort of middle America white guy base of Republicans, of the whole party. Essentially. I mean, they get all their electoral votes from there pretty much. We've been looking at the goddamn polls. The demographic that Donald Trump is doing best with is white men. Okay, now let's look a little bit at Tim Walz's record in a more serious way. This is Democracy Now! From 11 hours ago. A look at Tim Walz's record. George Floyd, IVF, guns, and Gaza.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. We're breaking with convention, war, peace, and the presidency. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz accepted the Democratic nomination for vice president on the third night of the Democratic National Convention here in Chicago. Walz has served as governor of Minnesota since 2018 after 6 terms in Congress, where he served as the ranking member of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. Walz is a former public school teacher and high school football coach who served 24 years in the National Guard. During his speech on Wednesday, Walz made repeated references to his time as a coach. He also outlined his achievements as governor.
We cut taxes for the middle class. We passed paid family and medical leave. We invested in fighting crime and affordable housing. We cut the cost of prescription drugs and helped people escape the kind of medical debt that nearly sank my family. And we made sure that every kid in our state gets breakfast and lunch every day. So while other states were banning books from their schools, we were banishing hunger from ours.
No, not hunger.
We also protected reproductive freedom because in Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and the personal choices they make. And even if we wouldn't make those same choices for ourselves, we've got a golden rule. Mind your own damn business. And that includes IVF and fertility treatments. And this is personal for Gwen and I. If you've never experienced the hell that is infertility, I guarantee you, you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call. The pit in your stomach when the phone had rang, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't worked.
17 minutes, 57 seconds. What does that mean? What does that mean, Philip Blair? It's a very confusing message. Is that for me? Am I supposed to do something about that? Oh, son of a bitch. What's happening right now? But all those things that he's saying sound pretty great. Not gonna lie. Pretty normal stuff that we should all essentially hope our government, expect our government to be doing, I feel, but often falls far too short. But these are These are good things he's talking about. Feeding kids. Come on. Come on. Who has problems with feeding kids? It's ridiculous. If you have problems with feeding kids, you're a monster. Okay. Now let's look at this. We're just going to watch a quick clip of this in case you missed it from yesterday. This was J.D. Vance at a press conference saying how he is preparing to debate. Oh, wait, you know what? I just realized. I got distracted. We have more stuff. I totally forgot. What time is it? Oh, God. How is it this late? Go to 17 minutes and whatever seconds. Oh, and the video? Well, there's a bunch of spots that I wanted to hit here, so just hold your horses.
Nomination last night here in Chicago at the Democratic National Convention. We're joined right now by two guests. Still with us, Minneapolis City Council member Jeremiah Ellison. And we're joined by Branko Marcetic, a staff writer at Jacobin who's been writing about Governor Walz. In fact, we had you on when Kamala Harris first chose him. If you can talk about not only his history, but also now the controversies that have come out, or what the Republicans are trying to go after him for.
Yeah, Walz is considered a very progressive pick for running mate, but he didn't start out as a progressive firebrand. He was a guy who won a conservative rural district in Minnesota. He kept it for another decade, and he ran for governor on kind of a not particularly progressive platform. He was more of the centrist in the race, and he ended up winning. And then when he won re-election, he got a trifecta in the Minnesota State House. He ended up using that political capital to pass a flurry of progressive legislation, paid family leave, and medical leave, universal school meals, legalized marijuana. He put forward a very ambitious renewable energy law as well, a lot of worker protections, and you could go down the list.
Didn't he go from 100% support of the NRA to went way the other way in terms of pushing for gun control?
Yeah, very much so. He was a guy, when he was in the House, he was a staunch supporter of gun rights, and then once he started to run for governor, he used that power to curb the proliferation of guns. That's one of the controversies that came out about him. While he was trying to make the case for the need to curb the gun problem in the U.S., he said, these weapons of war that I carried in war should not be around. People pointed out he didn't actually serve a combat role in Iraq, so he was kind of embellishing his resume there. People that defend him would say, well, but he wasn't embellishing his resume to make himself look better. He was doing it to make the case for why this should be done.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that he or somebody in his campaign said it was basically just him misspeaking. That in fact he trained with guns. He was in the military for 24 years. He just was never in active combat. So, in his mind, right, having, defended the country as a troop for 24 years and having trained with guns, I can see you saying something like that and having it mean different things.
There's a few other controversies that now are dogging him. Probably the one that Republicans are most trying to pin on him is that he retired from the National Guard. He served, I think, for 24 years. That's a big part of his resume. It's part of his appeal to rural America, to more conservative voters. When he retired a few months later, he retired in May 2005. In August 2005, his unit got the call up to be deployed in Iraq. people have said, even though the timeline does not make it seem like he dodged service, people are saying, well, there's no way he wouldn't have known that he was going to be deployed. He did this as a way to kind of get out of actually having to serve. But at the same time, the Minnesota National Guard has said that he had actually filed his papers to retire 5 to 7 months before that May date.
Okay, hold on. We don't need to listen to all this. I got distracted. Having the short stream is kind of throwing me off, still a little bit off of my rhythm. You suspect a lot of military vets would not appreciate that point of view? What in particular? The suggestion that not being in battle makes you... I'm sorry, I just don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that just got said.
In that famous picture of you when you were protesting the death of Jamar Clark, who was it, a trooper?
Yeah, I think it was an MPD officer with a
Minneapolis Police Department officer with an automatic weapon?
Yeah, it was one of the, it was like a marker round, one of those less than lethal weapons, but huge cannon on it. Yeah.
Against your head.
Yeah.
And you are also very active around George Floyd. Talk about the governor's role. I mean, taking it out of the Hennepin County Attorney's Office because you wouldn't prosecute the police and giving it to Attorney General Keith Ellison.
Yeah, well, the Hennepin County attorney at the time, he was willing to prosecute, but on a lesser charge. And I think that my dad's office, the governor, they felt like higher charges, more severe charges were possible, that they were lawful to bring forward. And so, you know, he handed the case over to my dad, and you know, I think a lot of folks saw the end result of that. My dad built a good team, had a lot of support from the governor to build that team, and they prosecuted Derek Chauvin.
And all 4 police officers were found guilty.
Officers, that's right.
So could you give an overall assessment, like what is Walz's position on policing safety?
And Trump's attack on him, who says you didn't bring in the National Guard in time.
You know, look, it's easy sort of in hindsight to look at what happened in Minneapolis and say that you would have had all the answers. I think that, you know, we were all, you know, responding, elected officials all responding in real time. We didn't always agree. I wasn't always in agreement with the mayor. I wasn't always in agreement with what the governor was doing. But I recognized that they were all responding in real time, trying to make sure that we could get some peace on the street there. I think people were really demanding that the governor hand the case over to my dad's office. And, you know, my overall assessment is that, you know, whatever the disagreements, however reluctantly, I really liked him. I think that he's done a good job as governor, and I think that he was the right pick to stand by Kamala Harris and be his VP pick. But, you know, we've got his views on police brutality, his views on police reform, I think are they're pretty moderate, right? He's moving at the pace that Minnesotans will allow him. Maybe not always moving at the pace that I would want to see him move at. But I do think that he's sincere in his efforts to see change, and I think that he's sincere in his efforts to bring some accountability to how policing functions in Minnesota.
We also wanted to go back to your father, the Attorney General, Keith Ellison, who spoke last night, one of the few who directly addressed the issue of Gaza from the stage.
Kamala and Tim, they fight for the people, and they also listen. And when they say we need a ceasefire and an end to the loss of innocent lives in Gaza, and to bring hostages home, they're listening, friends. They agree with us.
Again, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison was the first Muslim Congress member. He represented Minneapolis. And you are also an uncommitted delegate, Jeremiah. As a Minneapolis City Council member, you're wearing a pin right now that we're seeing all over the convention, as well as a number of people wearing keffiyehs. But your pin is an artist's project, not another bomb, with a flower for the O. If you can talk about the significance of what Keith Ellison said in your position, what's happening, what you did in the Minnesota delegation, people holding up the names of the dead in Gaza.
Yeah, you know, our effort here is to come and build solidarity with Harris delegates. We're uncommitted because we feel like we haven't seen this ticket show and prove how they're going to save lives. We want to know what that strategy is. We have ideas. Again, not sending weapons is one of those ideas about how to achieve a ceasefire. But we didn't come here to, rain on people's parade. I think that we have had that effect.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. It's been pretty clear. You know, and the fact is, I think that people who are pro-Palestinian do see this as an opportunity, a change in the administration, to hopefully use what political capital they have to affect change in some way in this situation. Okay, let's go on to this. Let's talk about the Republicans a little bit. Let's talk about these people, what they're doing. Okay, yeah, let's look at this first. This is from 2 days ago. J.D. Vance, this is how he's preparing for a debate with Tim Walz.
Hi, Senator. Kit Maher, CNN. I know Donald Trump has been reported.
Guys. She's one of the good CNN reporters. There's like two of them. She's okay.
Back to my question. So Donald Trump has enlisted the help of Tulsi Gabbard to prep for his debate. I'd like to know how you were prepping for a debate with Tim Walz, who has described himself as a bad debater. Who's helping you, and how are you prepping?
Well, I found a good friend from back home who embellishes and lies a lot, and I'm having him stand in for Tim Walz. That's what we're doing during our debate. But
weird.
Look, what all kidding
weird, dude.
aside, what we're gonna do.
Don't be creepy.
So yeah, apparently J.D. Vance's friend, who lies and exaggerates a lot, is helping him prepare for the debate. Apparently he's got a bunch of close friends who are all notorious liars, perhaps people like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. What next? Let's go here. Wait, is this one behind? It is behind. Why is this behind by a minute? Alright. Yes, let's go here. This is Forbes breaking news from a day ago. This is Donald Trump asking about Biden and what's going on with this guy.
Where's Biden? What happened to Biden? Where is he? He's on a beach. He's on a beach. You know, he's got somebody that thinks he looks great in a bathing suit. He likes to go to a beach. How do you leave here and go on a beach? You can't do it. There are things you just don't do. People.
How can you leave here and go on a beach? That makes so here where what? I'm confused.
Don't want a bathing suit. Walks badly. It's hard to walk in the sand. You know, he has a hard time lifting his feet through the sand. And then he grabs the chair. The chair is meant for old people to lift and young kids to lift, like, you know, 4-year-old kids, right? And he can't lift it. He needs a little help. The whole thing is crazy. How we
Can't
ever
lift
got
chairs.
that is crazy. And what happened to our country with inflation?
What is he doing right now? Does he want to win? Does Donald Trump want to win? All he's doing is complaining about Joe Biden going to the beach and then immediately switching to pick one. At least pick one. Like, he didn't even effectively make this point. I feel like he was trying to say that Joe Biden is spending too much time at the beach. But he kind of lost his sort of lost it in the middle there. It's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. But let's quickly take a look at what Donald Trump did during his presidency. Here's CNN from 7 years ago. Trump's 13th golf visit in 65 days.
Follow the rich white man.
You might remember, as a candidate, Donald Trump openly talked about his love of golf and how prepared he was to give it up.
But if I were in the White House, I don't think I'd ever see Turnberry again. I don't think I'd ever see Doral again. I own Doral in
what
Miami.
now?
I don't think I'd ever see many of the places that I have. I don't ever think I'd see anything. I just want to stay in the White House.
I'd never see any places ever again.
Who's going to leave? Who's going to leave?
Sorry, hold on. The stream software is suddenly doing its own thing, apparently. What chair is for old people and children to... I don't know. A beach chair, I guess? One of those foldable ones, I would guess. Where is Melania? Where is Melania? Everybody else's family is out on the campaign trail. Meanwhile, she is back at Mar-a-Lago with the pool boy, I assume. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Now it's working, finally.
67 days in, turns out the president is seeing his golf courses and other places that bear the Trump name quite a bit. Check out this calendar. So far, President Trump has visited a Trump property nearly 1 out of every 3 days as president. Now, most of that, as you can see, is the weekends down at Mar-a-Lago. So be it, except you were making this point earlier. A president deserves a break. A president deserves to go on the golf course. It's a stressful job.
It's a stressful job.
Bush when he went to Crawford.
Thanks, John.
The Republicans.
Thanks, John. It's a stressful job. So, you know, that's probably what's happening here, I think. I think Joe Biden probably just needs a little bit of a little R&R. Okay, let's go here. This is from 7 hours ago, where Donald Trump visited the border. I believe this was in Texas or Arizona. Fuck. Well, this was from Fox 4 Dallas Fort Worth, so let's assume it's in Texas. See what Donald Trump has to say about the border.
Illegal.
It's an illegal border.
So thank you very much, everybody. It's a very sad time for this country in many ways. You had a candidate. I was no fan of Joe Biden, but the way he was taken out was a coup.
Illegal.
He got 14 million votes. And
It's a coup.
the person running now got none. She was disgraced.
Not like January 6th, which was for very, very peaceful, loving people who just wanted to visit the Capitol. No, the violent coup committed by Democrats took out Joe Biden. He's dead. He's gone forever. Now, crooked Kamala.
Was figured out by the Democrat voters. She never made it to Iowa. She was the first one out of approximately 22 people that were running for the Democrat nomination. She never even made it to Iowa. Beautiful place, Iowa. But she didn't. Plenty of people did. And Biden got 14 million votes. She got no votes, and now she's running against
No votes.
us. The good news is that
I don't know this, but Vice President doesn't get any of the votes. It all goes to the President. They don't split it up.
we're winning in the polls based on what I'm seeing. And after the debate, we were winning by many points, as you know, against Biden. They went in to see him. They said, "You're losing. You're not going to win. You can't win."
So very many points. We were unbeatable, and now we're so very beatable. We've never been as beatable as we are in this moment. Oh, God. The coup. He's very sad. I mean, this is from earlier today, so this was day 4 of the DNC. I mean, listen to how depressed Donald Trump sounds right now. He sounds very sad that A, Joe Biden got couped, that B, he didn't come back from the dead and go to the DNC and kick the mic out of Kamala Harris's hands and say,
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious,
no, didn't happen.
American president, and it was done with anger, and he's more angry than anybody. And again, I'm no fan of his. I think he was perhaps the worst president. He was the worst president.
Very worst.
What's happened at the border is allowed, in my opinion, and in the opinion of the gentleman behind me who know this better than anybody, much more than 20 million people into our country.
Just making up numbers. 20 million people who I have absolutely no proof of existing. The very best poll just came out saying that all those numbers you saw before are fake. This poll says we're winning by a absolutely huge margin. And the people who have been saying these horrible, nasty things about me, they're all going to jail, according to this poll. This is an hour and 2-minute long speech. We're not going to watch this whole thing up. We're just going to catch every 10 minutes. We're just going to move ahead. Here's 10 minutes. We're going to go here. Let's see what he has to say at 10 minutes.
A high official said, "Well, we don't really believe those numbers because Trump gave them."
Trumpy Trump gave the numbers.
From the Labor Bureau, and these are the stats that.
Why do his lips look
let out? In fact,
like so white?
I mean, they just came out. They were.
Is it just me? Is it just me, or is it like are his lips like much whiter than his face? It's a weird vibe. And in the sun, his hair is glowing. He kind of looks like what I imagine a human explosion looks like. You know? It's like the hair is like the top of the mushroom cloud, if you will.
Yeah, officially released. Those are official numbers. Has nothing to do with me. I just happen to be playing the role of a reporter for a change.
Playing the role of
a reporter. I hope you're going to
reporter.
do something with it because I think it's a serious thing. But it's the same as everything else. And I'm so glad
Not like that time when I faked being somebody else and called into the news and lied to reporters. That's different. That's very different. This is me being a reporter, not a different person.
a little dangerous to do. I hate to tell you, you guys are in danger with the kind of weaponry that we have, but I felt it was important to do. And this kind of stuff that they put up to shield us, I'm going to make you feel not so good. It doesn't mean a thing compared to what comes through there.
Not
But
so
at least they
good.
can't see you, but it's dangerous territory, and these people have unbelievable courage. The Border Patrol, ICE, the police, local law enforcement, unbelievable. I don't even know how they do it. They talk about, I was courageous. I was encouraged. These people are courageous. They go through this every day. And the amount of horrible injuries sustained in fights.
Just horrible.
Incredible. Not reported, but incredible. We're
Not
here
reported,
today
but
on the southern border. in
absolutely
Arizona,
incredible.
where
Nonetheless, there's no data for this, but it's absolutely horrifying. Exactly. He's that emoji. His face right now is that emoji. Okay, we made it another minute and a half. Let's go another 10 minutes ahead. 20 minutes. There it is. Wait, why went? Oh, because of text. Yes. I'm sure it's gonna get normal any minute now. It's gonna stop being weird.
every day brings another story about innocent Americans being tortured, raped, murdered, and massacred by illegal aliens that Kamala Harris has set free in our country. Don't hold
She
them.
set them free.
Don't hold them. Let them free. They'll behave. Well, he killed 20 people. Oh, but...
That's right. Kamala Harris, she came down to the border. She opened up the gate and said, everybody, come on in. You're free.
Here it's different. Since Comrade Harris took over the border, there has been a 43% nationwide increase in violent crime and a 60% increase in rape. And the FBI should...
Where is he finding these figures? Where is he finding... Public service announcement. Those figures are non-factual. Okay, let's go. Let's see. 30 minutes maybe? Maybe 30 minutes gets normal? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. We'll try 45 minutes. Who is this lady?
Story after story.
Story after story.
Kamala has called for the abolishing of ICE, the closing of every ICE detention facility, and the releasing of some of the most vicious criminals anywhere in the world by doing so. She supports free health care for illegal immigrants and has promised to give illegals mass amnesty and citizenship, which will obliterate Social Security. Oh, Social Security is going to be obliterated.
Social Security obliterated.
Millions of people that she wants to put on.
It's gone. I love it.
Also Medicare.
Republicans love Social Security, even though they don't.
I'm going to save some.
He's gonna save it. Okay. He's gonna save it. In what way? Even if Donald Trump was president, I don't think you could keep Republicans, if they won their elections as well, from destroying Social Security.
Sheriffs and law enforcement, I want to thank you so much because this job is so dangerous. It's not even believable. You pull over a car, they open the door and they start shooting you. That happened in Long Island with a great young man with an incredible family. I went there. Same thing. So we have to stop it.
Oh my god. Wow. I went to Long Island. Not for this reason, but I was there. Could have been me. Could have been Hillary. I mean, Tiffany, whatever her name is. Could have been my daughter. We were on Long Island. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. We got through it. So, yep. Now, honestly, I don't know if you were feeling the same thing, but Donald Trump just seems low energy. He's been seeming sort of low energy, not hitting his talking points in the same gusto as before. Well, before the assassination attempt. And, well, here's Charlemagne the God on CNN from a day ago saying some similar shit. Go to the 1 hour mark.
I understand you just interviewed a special guest. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Wolf.
You have a specific. I'm sorry. I didn't even watch that. I didn't even watch that video before we watched it together. Not gonna lie, I did not have an hour and 12 minutes to watch. Are you saying that something at exactly 1 hour was hilarious? Okay, I have time for that. Let's see.
Sheriffs and law enforcement, I want to thank the job they do, including a month and a half ago when they were jumping on top of me with bullets flying right at them. So mistakes were made.
Mistakes are made.
Mistakes, but I have great respect. But no, I haven't heard that, but I'm not that surprised. And the reason is because I want to do things that are very bad for the bad guys. So I have heard it's very unsafe to make this trip. There were some people that really didn't want me to make it. Yeah.
You have a lot of support.
Families and children under your mask deportation.
Yeah, we'll work on that. You know, they're missing so many children right now under this administration. Over 300,000. Many of them are dead. You know that. Many of them are dead.
Wait, what?
Many of the hostages in Israel are dead.
Wait.
This is why Hamas isn't talking. You know, Hamas doesn't want to negotiate very much because I think they probably don't have very many alive right now, and so they don't want to really get into too much.
Wait, Hamas isn't negotiating because they're not alive? Or because is he saying because the hostages aren't alive? I'm confused. I'm so confused. And did he just say that 300,000 children are dead in Gaza? No, he was kidding. He was kidding about how many children are dead. It's ridiculous.
Because I think many of those hostages
Just ridiculous.
But the 300,000 children that are missing, many of them are dead. And many of them are in sex rings and all sorts of things going on.
What?
It's a terrible thing.
What
They have done such a
the
bad
fuck
job in
is
this
he?
government
Oh
in
my
terms of
God.
everything, foreign relations.
What is he
border,
talking
crime,
about?
Jobs. And today you found out that the job numbers are fake on top of everything else. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
You have a lot of support for your policies here. Sheriff Daniels is someone that I've spoken with. I've interviewed before.
Yes.
He's very much in support of your policies. But when it comes to something like mass deportation, how would you work with blue states and blue cities that might not be as supportive as some of the folks here?
Let me tell you, they're much more supportive than you think. I've watched New York, Eric Adams. I've watched the body language. A lot of people that are in charge of that, they want to straighten it out. They can't live like this. New York has hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants in their midst. Many of them are very, very hardened criminals. And I've watched the mayors, I've watched governors talking. And
All
it's
the
almost
immigrants
like
are
they're talking
criminals.
because they're demanded from Washington. They want it out much more than people would understand. They want them out. They don't want to see their cities overrun.
Wait, what?
New York is overrun, Chicago's
I'm
overrun.
sorry. What is he saying? I can't. He's too much. It's too much stupid. It's too much. It's stupid overload. It's just too much. Wait, Hamas has incentive to end it. Yes. All right. Good God. Now, let's go to this. So I gotta say, it doesn't seem like he's really feeling it.
I understand you just interviewed a special guest. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Wolf, when we were doing the roll call yesterday, we were down here covering it from the floor. You may have seen a special guest in front of New York's delegation. That was Spike Lee. I just ran into him on the floor a few moments ago and asked him about what this convention means and what it means to have Vice President Harris at the top of the ticket. And this is what he told me. You're here at the Democratic convention. What does it mean for you to be here to see Vice President Harris as the Democratic nominee?
I wanted to be here. This is not history. This is her story. She's going to be the first woman
Her story.
to be president of this United States of America. Blended family, you know, the whole Howard University, HU, you know. So this is a amazing moment in the history of these United States of America. And
I'm sorry, we already listened to this Spike Lee interview yesterday. I don't know why they have to put this in here. Here.
He's talking about Donald Trump. He doesn't like to say his name, but talking about how he feels that he believes that Kamala Harris is going to be the next president. You said something the other day, Charlemagne, that wasn't saying you don't think Trump can win, wasn't saying you don't think any of that. It was you don't think Trump wants to be president anymore. I just want to play it. Here it is.
He does not want to be the Republican nominee no more. He is hoping that Republicans do him the way the Democrats did Biden. He wants to be put out of his misery.
Self-coup. Can somebody coup me, please?
Hear it in
It's
his
too late for
voice.
You believe that?
100%. I think, what Nikki Haley said when she said the first party to get rid of their 80-year-old candidate was going to win this election. I think that's going to come to be true. And I think that, he's just over it. I mean, the guy did just get shot at, a month ago? And I think there's some PTSD involved. I think everything that you're seeing right now from Donald Trump is just a response to trauma. He's just staying busy because he absolutely has nothing else to do. Or maybe it's just his ego saying, hey, I need to continue to run because I want to stay out of jail. But I don't think he wants to be the nominee in any way, shape, form.
Do you think that too?
Yeah, and the thing is that, I've been kind of saying that he seems a little bit low energy, not as excited lately. Seems sort of, like his mind is on other things, like maybe golf. Maybe he just wants to golf. Dude owns a golf course. I think he owns like 2 golf courses. So, maybe he just wants to go golfing. Who can blame him for just wanting to stop? I support him. I support him dropping out of the race. Like that'll ever happen. He'll have like a clause in his will that makes it so that his kids have to file papers for his corpse to run every 4 years. Like their whole trust funds will be like locked up if they don't file the paperwork early enough or something like that. Sleepy Don. It's very sleepy. That's right, got golf. He's got the court cases on his mind. I mean, the guy's got a lot. And Melania does not seem happy lately either. She seems kind of, she doesn't seem like she's having fun out there. Not gonna lie. Seems like she's kind of forcing it.
Discussion as to whether he will at that time formally endorse Trump. All right, so when you look at this, does that make a difference? Given, you've talked to every single one of these folks.
No, I mean, listen, I think that there is going to be a time in this country where there are third-party candidates who can have real impact. But when you say RFK Jr. got out, I mean, was he ever really in? Come on, we know it's a two-party system in this country.
Yeah.
You know it's going to be a Democrat. You know it's going to be a Republican. Somebody like RFK Jr. never really.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not wrong about that, but there is, I think some of this that he isn't necessarily looking at, and, well, I don't even think I have a story on this right now in my watch list, but the Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has, in fact, I believe, or plans to, hasn't, maybe, I don't think he has, which is why I don't have a story on it yet. I think he is planning to endorse Donald Trump. At least that's what I heard. There's like in the ether out there. All right, I'm going to I'm going to take a break. We've gone 2 hours, over 2.5 hours on American politics. We are going to break here. And go to the fun half. Nope, just kidding. Go to the intergalactic pool party for a moment. Alright, I hope everybody's enjoying the stream so far. If you haven't already, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. If you've already done both those things and you still find yourself looking for other ways to support the Galactic News Network, well, here's a good idea. You can become a Galactic Patron on Patreon. Got a link in my YouTube bio and in the chat. Just a few US dollars a month, you can gain access to a whole bunch of super sweet space benefits, unseen by the rest of the goddamn galaxy. Alright, chat. Well, grab yourselves a drink, maybe a snack, maybe hit the head if you haven't this whole time, and I will be right back. Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm back. Which means it's time for us to get to the second half of the show. Which, boy, that'll be a long stream. Is that really me dancing? Where? I'm not dancing. I'm in the floaty, next to the yacht in the lake. All right, let's get to the second half, folks. It's that time for the second half of the show. So get yourself together, get back in your seat. We are about to go. All right, let's talk some environmental stuff here. What's the name of the picnic basket thief bear? You mean Yogi? Is that who you mean? Why, of course not, Mr. Park Ranger, sir. Me and Boo Boo, we would never take no picnic basket. RFK Jr. killed Yogi? Oh my god. That's breaking news. That's what that is. That's breaking news. That is breaking. RFK murdered Yogi, and that's why that cartoon doesn't exist anymore. Okay, let's go. Here, let's start with the environment. And what better way to talk about the environment?
All New Yorkers, what
No,
they need to know
wait,
to protect
stop that.
themselves move.
No. Not that one. Okay. We are going to talk about the seasons, that being the fall, which apparently is coming even sooner than normal. Why? Not because of climate change. No, no, no. It's a different reason.
All right. Did not want to do this story, but apparently everybody's talking about it because, first of all, it's August. But there are some marketing people out there, Don Draper types, who think that it's not too soon to talk about pumpkin spice season. Pumpkin spice season. Some think it's never too early for this fall flavor, including, who do you think? Starbucks. They're debuting its fall menu today. Earlier in the year, before the company says its fall lineup marks the unofficial start of the fall season. But of course, the actual season doesn't begin for another.
Wow. Wow. This should be illegal. For Starbucks to start pumpkin spice season a month early. Good God. Good God. It's not fall yet. Fact is Starbucks has been having, you know, their fair share of problems. They're trying to boost revenue, see if they can make more money. Maybe if we just serve pumpkin spice earlier, it'll make more money. I don't know. Gotta get those coffee revenues up. We'll just pretend it's fall. Bastards. Okay. Now here's a uplifting story about a man out to set a world record. 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days.
Abs tight. Fitness has always been a decent part of my life.
It would not be a stretch to say Colin Zwickel is taking things to an extreme level.
It sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and I've been told that I'm crazy more than once.
In November, Colin will
You
take
do
part in
seem
what's
crazy.
called the Great World Race.
7 marathons over 7 days over 7 different continents.
You heard right. Here's Colin's unthinkable week-long run route. He'll start on the ice, Wolf's Fang, Antarctica, to complete his first marathon. After that, he flies to Cape Town, South Africa for his second 42K run. Then it's a 13-hour flight to Perth, Australia to complete Marathon 3. From down under onto Istanbul, Turkey. Marathons for both Europe and Asia. And then Colin wraps things up in the Americas. Cartagena, Colombia, and South America, followed by marathon number 7, the big finish in Miami, Florida.
Why?
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Just figured we would just watch something different than usual. We're always watching so many depressing stories around here during this environmental half. Happy Halloween, says Philip Blair. My God, Philip. It's too soon for that, undoubtedly. It's definitely too soon for lattes, and even, well, actually no, let's take it back. It's even more too soon for that. Whatever, we're moving on from this goddamn pumpkin talk. No more pumpkins, I say. I'm done talking pumpkins. I'm not gonna talk pumpkin spice, pumpkin pie, pumpkin seeds, pumpkin carving. None of these things. Okay, let's go here. This is much needed for the West Coast. There's NBC Bay Area from 21 hours ago.
Pretty sweet there. I know a lot of college kids just started this week, Jeff.
Yes,
Weather's been pretty nice for them.
It has been nice back to school weather here all across the Bay Area. We can get really lucky here for August standards, and temperatures, they're going to go even cooler as we head through the next couple of days. Take a look at this satellite radar picture, and you can see the latest storm system right here, that counterclockwise spin. That's the area of low pressure we're tracking, not only keeping the hottest weather way back towards the desert southwest, but also bringing in the chance of rain. Now, as this starts to get here, next 2 days, some areas are going to get hit harder than others with that rainfall, and it's primarily off to the north of the Bay Area. We do have a flash flood watch up for Butte.
Now, remember, Butte is the county where the Park Fire originated. So the fact that this area is getting hit with rain could be good. Also bad if it's going to cause a bunch of flooding, but to some degree it's necessary to help put these fires out. So, you know, sort of a, what do you call it? Paradox. Catch-22. Either way, probably, well, it's much needed. Okay, let's go here. We can't celebrate Christmas anymore, says who? We can celebrate Christmas as long as the Galactic News Network is still around in Christmas time. Although I'm very concerned that that won't be the case. Okay. Let's go to here. Let's talk about that southwestern part of the United States, because, like he was saying, all the heat got pushed down there, and in Texas, schools are closing in some areas for heat issues. This is from CBS News from 8 hours ago.
Let's jump the map now. We're taking you to Texas. So you're looking live at Fort Worth, that is. It is a major heat alert in effect for parts of the region. In fact, the hot temperatures also mean the demand for power extremely high. And take a look at this. Some schools in the Houston area, they say they're having issues with the air conditioning. At least one school had to close.
It feels very humid and hot. It feels like right out here, just in an enclosed space, so the air it doesn't even circulate, just hot air, period. Works kind of like an oven, where it's an enclosed space and it's hot, and it's kind of harder to focus.
Oh, that tells it all. School officials say they're working.
It does make sense. If you were in an oven, focusing would be difficult. Is it 4th of July already? We just got done celebrating the 4th. That was last month. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I'm on strike. I'm on strike because everyone wants to celebrate holidays in the wrong months. It's out of control. And I blame Starbucks for all of this. They're the ones who started it. They started it. Now chat, well, for whatever reason, chat is in solidarity with Starbucks for some reason. Okay, let's go to the beautiful state of Colorado, where that fire we talked about recently has increased in size near Golden.
Firefighters are battling a wildfire flaring up in the Clear Creek Canyon area. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office say the Goltra fire has grown to more than 200 acres overnight. Highway 6 through the canyon is closed right now. Firefighters have spent all night and most of the morning watching the situation. Your reporter Kennedy Cook is joining us near Golden right now. Kennedy, you're monitoring the fire from the ground.
Michelle, good afternoon to you. We've been here all morning long monitoring this fire, and right now it's still a smoky and a hazy scene. I want you to get a look behind me. Now, all morning we've seen fire crews, helicopters make their way, bringing in hoses to try to extinguish this fire. It's been a lot of wind, and that fire is still burning. Now, we captured video this morning.
Oopsies.
flames. Here's what we know about the Gulch fire so far. The fire started late in the day on Tuesday. Witnesses tell investigators they saw lightning spark it. The down canyon winds have caused the fire to run, and it spread more than 200 acres overnight. But after a risk assessment, deputies report that there is no current risk with the fire.
And oddly enough, we went from a fire ban yesterday morning to fire restrictions, which is just a slightly reduced level of restrictions to our community, and it is still dry. One lightning strike caused this fire, so it is still a need to be incredibly.
Okay, so yeah, that fire's still going on there in Golden, Colorado. It's been going on for a couple of days now. It was very small when we first saw it, and now well, it's still small in comparison to some of the things we've seen. Let's go to Canada, Ontario here. Yeah, CBC News from 3 days ago. Doug Ford's government shifts direction on wind power in Ontario. Now, Doug Ford, who is a conservative in Canada, has been very anti-green energy in previous public statements and policies and all of it, really. But it's apparently, at least his government has, suddenly shifted direction on all that. Very strange.
Welcome to Melanchthon Township, home to about 3,200 people and more than 160 wind turbines.
We're not unhappy with the way wind turbines have rolled out in Melanchthon, but that's not to say there hasn't been problems along the way.
This wind farm, about 100 kilometers northwest of Toronto, was the first to be built in Ontario back in 2006. The Liberal government of Dalton McGuinty soon made renewable power one of its top priorities, even approving wind farms in communities that didn't want them. Then Doug Ford became Premier with a promise to scrap green energy projects.
We canceled those terrible wind turbines that is really for the last 15 years have destroyed our energy file.
Now, in what stands to be one of the sharpest policy U-turns the Ford government has made, Ontario is poised for its biggest expansion of green energy in years.
Funny how that works, but fact is that it gets cheaper and cheaper to make renewable energy. The technology continues to get better and better. So, people like Doug Ford are going to have to eat their words and suck it up.
What now?
What has the wind ever done for the earth? I hear we can go completely without wind. This is what I hear from the very best people. They're all telling me wind, not important. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go south again to the United States here to Long Island and Connecticut, where they were both hit by remnants of Hurricane Ernesto, and the devastation is pretty wild.
Switching gears and now to last night's furious storm. Several areas.
Sorry, wrong one. This one right here. Is Doug Ford the mayor who likes to party too much?
Stunning, absolutely.
Yes.
And now some video here from Connecticut that captured the moment a house collapsed.
after its foundation was washed away by floodwater.
This happened in Oxford, about 15 miles northwest of New Haven.
Good fucking God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And he spoke to the homeowner.
As long
Oh.
as I have him and he has me, what else can you say? We'll rebuild.
Randy Marcuccio adored
That
living above the
sucks.
5 Mile Brook, a favorite spot for son Riley to play, until Sunday's storm turned the brook into an unstoppable wave of water. Pieces of her property swept away, the damage growing with each passing hour. And then on Monday morning, complete collapse.
It's hard to say what I'm feeling. I think I'm feeling a little bit of everything. The sadness for the loss, and then I'm also happy to see the community come together for not only myself, but other people that have suffered through this. Yeah.
At the
Oh my
Brookside
God.
Inn, flooding damage totals in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you can't put a price on the bravery displayed here Sunday.
Thankful. They are desperate to find something positive out of this. We just watched that woman, her family's entire house collapse in front of our eyes. Thankfully, the community, they're having a, great time coming together. Okay, thanks for that. But, I'm not sure that makes things better. I mean, it doesn't bring back her house. That's all I'm saying. Like, is it good that people are helping? Yes. Would have been better if her house didn't collapse. Let's go here. This is Eyewitness News, ABC. Apparently, President Biden has now approved emergency declarations for Connecticut after the recent historic flooding that happened. We were just looking at.
President Biden has approved an emergency declaration for Connecticut as it tries to clean up after historic flooding. This means state agencies can work with FEMA to deploy personnel and equipment to aid in the recovery efforts. Governor Lamont says there's still a lot of work to do to repair and reopen roads and make sure residents hit in hard-hit areas remain safe. He says a complete damage assessment could take several weeks. Meanwhile, senators from New York are asking for the same for Suffolk County. Senator Schumer and Gillibrand are urging FEMA to provide rapid assistance. In the letter, they say the county executive expects the damages to be more than $75 million. This includes the need to repair a dam in the town of Brookhaven that broke, forcing residents to evacuate. Homeowners say the damage they suffered after every storm is getting worse.
It's devastating what has happened to our block and our community. It's sad. It's very sad because this was my home that brought me so much joy and so much peace and serenity, and now we literally wake up with every tide with less and less land.
Well, New York Governor Hochul says that several state agencies are working to help reopen roads, provide resources to victims.
Okay. So hopefully that assistance will be enough to help people through transitioning or rebuilding, I guess. You think Ben Shapiro will buy the property? Could be. Could be. I'm gonna skip some stuff. We are taking a long time. Moving super slow today. Let's go all the way to here. This is just a follow-up on a story that we did earlier this week. I think it was either yesterday or a couple of days ago. In Italy.
We are following breaking news in the deadly sinking of a super yacht off Sicily. We're learning a fifth body has been recovered and now identified. Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is in the newsroom with the breaking details for us. Good morning, Kimberly.
Good morning, Charlene. This is a story we've been following all week, the search for those missing on board that sunken super yacht off Sicily. We've now learned that divers have recovered, yes, a fifth body, identified by Italian media as British tycoon and tech mogul Mike Lynch, the owner of the Wobegon. Right now, crews are working. They have been since early this morning. At this point, only Lynch's 18-year-old daughter, Hannah, is still missing. Yesterday, divers recovered and identified 4 others, including Christopher Marvello, a prominent lawyer from New York City, and his wife, Netta, a luxury jewelry designer. Questions have intensified about why the vessel, one of the most advanced in the world, sank so quickly when a nearby sailboat remained largely untouched. Officials do believe the ship was struck by a waterspout. The boat's captain survived. He was one of 15 people rescued from a lifeboat. 6 are confirmed dead. One of the more challenging parts of this mission is the fact that the 184-foot luxury vessel sits more than 160 feet underwater, and so divers can only spend about 12 minutes at a time searching for victims.
So yeah, they found this guy who owned the boat, Mike Lynch, who had recently been, was it acquitted, I guess? I think he might have been acquitted, essentially, of having inflated the price of his company to the tune of billions of dollars. And then this happened. And yeah, one of those bodies was his. The only person missing now is his daughter, who was only 18. And I do feel bad for her. Okay, let's go here. Just look at some of this footage of this video of the Icelandic volcano in where is it? Grindavik? No. Sundaker. It's actually live right now. This is a live video of this thing. We have 30 likes, don't we? I never noticed. It's my fault. That's Sam Cedar. Let's go back and see some of the other stuff here. Jeez, look at that. I should show this is paused. No sound, but the image is insane. There must be hundreds of feet in the air. At least these big ones must be like 100+ feet in the air. Kind of hard to tell, not a lot of perspective. It's weird timing, like he incurred the wrath of the old gods. The sailboat guy? Yeah, a little bit. It does seem like that. It was like Old Testament. God did like some smiting or something. I don't want to. It's wrong. We shouldn't. It's too soon. Too soon. All right, let's go here. Let's go a little north of Italy to Ukraine, where a Ukrainian beekeeper has refused to abandon his hives as Russian troops advance. Save the bees.
We are near Mirnograd, just a few kilometers away from the front line. This is Sasha. He's a former resident and a beekeeper here, and in the middle of harvesting his honey. A hard task, given the war raging nearby.
The goal is to extract the honey as quickly as possible, prepare the bees to take them to safety, probably to the Dnipro region, because leaving them here makes no sense. They would not survive.
A few months ago, Sasha almost died in the bombing of his house. Evacuated to the west of the country, he returned to Mirnograd so as not to abandon his bees and his dozens of hives. He knows that he's risking his own life and that every day is a race against time.
The front line is not far at all. You can hear everything that is happening there. It is too dangerous to stay here for the night.
The calm of
So yeah, this guy is fighting to save the Ukrainian bees. Respect. Really, really interesting to see somebody who cares that much about bees willing to risk their lives. Bitcoin Hitchcock. What is Bitcoin Hitchcock? I don't know what that means. Who is Bitcoin Hitchcock? Okay. Are you supposed to see the video? I don't know. I don't know. How far behind are you than me? Oh no. What sucks is that the no video, I can see you all typing these right now. And you're behind me. For whatever reason, I've noticed this. When it lags at the beginning of the stream, we wind up getting super slow chat, so it's like 30 seconds behind me or something. Jesus Christ. Three and a half hours in. I'm trying to think. Seems super quiet tonight, so I don't know. Maybe I should end the stream now? I know there's a lot of people streaming at one point, but now I'm pretty sure there's like nobody streaming. It's just me. Yet, still, pretty quiet right now. I think part of it is that viewers are split up between horizontal and vertical chat, and maybe that's throwing me off slightly. It does look, just looks weird. Yeah, maybe I should save this for Friday. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. That's gonna be it for me tonight. Till I see you next time. You stay classy, Galactic Stream Nation. These are your galactic patrons. Gabby, Gothdogs, Aaron W, Schmegley, TB, Mitty, Afroponics, Narwhal by Nature, Interplanet Janet, Technomapok, Robot Cat, Selena, the Anti-Corporatist, Monoib, Nadia, Mrs. Jen, Omega Star, Sasha G, Pitchforks Dragon, Vincent Morales, and Donald James X. That's right. All these people have helped in making this show possible. You can too for just a few dollars a month by clicking this link in chat or my bio, becoming a galactic patron yourself.
Bye.